Robert,
Yo, what's shaking AC?
my chair is shaking. I found a chair with wheels on it so I can like shake around and have a little party while I'm working.
Sounds like a really good idea.
Of course. How did I know that you were going to come up with something like that? You'd almost think we planned this.
Almost.
All right. So I got a question for you.
Okay, I hopefully have an answer.
Okay. Yeah, you usually do. But I'm going to start with a little bit of a kind of context here. So you know how on the franchisor roundtables that I've been hosting that you've been loyally attending on a weekly basis. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
you're very welcome.
There's been a big range. I've been so flabbergasted. Yes, I said flabbergasted about the range of situations people are in right now due to COVID-19. And I think the role that I'm in, I have the blessing of just being around a lot of different business owners and seeing like that range. And by range, what I'm thinking about is like we've got everything from Christine from InExpress on the roundtable today, whose business there was no pivoting needed. They're just thriving because it's delivery. To we've got Frank Milner from Tutor Doctor, who they had to pivot to online, but it wasn't too big of a pivot. It was already sort of something I think they were maybe working towards. To you with Control V, which is an amazing business that cannot run right now because it requires, masks on face. Do you call it masks? Is that what you call it?
HMDs, head mounted displays.
Oh, okay. On faces. And of course you can't, social distancing, that would be majorly breaking the rules. So, my question for you is how the heck do you stay so positive? You are sitting there, you're in your business right now, which hasn't had feet through the door other than yours and maybe your business partners the odd time. And every time I see you seem like everything's great.
Me? You make me sound like a Smurf. You're always positive too.
Oh, I guess that's true. Can I be Smurfette?
Sure. You can be whichever Smurf you want. I'll be the, what is it, jokey Smurf or something, the funny guy, or a cool Smurf.
What's the song again?
Something like that.
I just have to get you to sing it. Okay. So you're always so positive, and I'm thinking like there's people out there with businesses that are kind of half running right now, right? Like food businesses that are doing pickup and delivery, some products businesses and things. You can't sell anything right now.
Yeah.
You've got franchisees that are struggling, of course, like it's a tough time. So how do you do it?
Yeah, we're not an essential service. We don't do curbside pickup. We can't do anything online. We are screwed. We are 100% screwed.
You're a pivotless business.
Pivotless business. And what's worse is when everything does get going, we're the business that has to get and touch your face and put stuff on you, right? So we're going to be the last ones to open.
And before you tell your secrets of how you stay positive, are you concerned about like this waiting period? You seem to be doing okay.
I am responsibly concerned, which means to the degree that I should be, understanding all the different pathways and the repercussions and how it can pan out, the level of concern that is brought from that is the degree to which I am concerned. I am not overly concerned in a panicky mind frame or a depressive mind frame or anything like that. I just can't be. There's no room for that, So my sort of trick or secret, which it really isn't one, to staying so positive, and it's one of our core values at Control V, is being a big picture thinker. Your role, how you contribute to what the mission and what we're trying to achieve. If you have this big picture, you know that every little bump or hurdle or obstacle along the way, you'll get through it because you're thinking about the final picture, the final goal, what you're moving towards. So ultimately you have this sort of vision, or maybe even, for lack of a better word, in some cases, a fantasy of how things will pan out. And so everything you do is you just do it joyously. You have no distinction between what you like to do and what you don't like to do. You do it all with complete joy because it's moving towards this larger goal. And that's what keeps me happy and positive. Like, yeah, let's crank it. I'm backed up against the wall. I'm gonna bust the thing down.
Yeah. Well, you're a fighter, that's for sure. And I mean that like in a positive, driven entrepreneurial way. And that is so good what you just said, because that applies so often in franchising. I use that so much when I'm encouraging franchisors to support their franchisees by going back to their why. I think the first time we ever did some work together, does that not ring a bell? We talked about go back to the franchisee and make sure that they're tapped into their why so that they can get through it. So you're walking the talk and doing that as the franchisor.
Yeah. So then let me turn the tables. Oh, how the tables turn. Anyways, and flip it around on you. How do you stay so positive, Smurfette?
Is this my new name?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So, okay, all kidding aside, I love talking about mindset, and I've had the opportunity to speak on that topic of local business panels and things like that. And I've got a little bit of that sort of morning routine thing going where I start my day really grounded. I do everything from some journaling. A gratitude journal is I've got an app on my phone, and so like it's amazing. Every day I reflect on my wins from the day before, and even if it's just like a tiny little win, like I sat in the sun for 5 minutes, whatever it is, and then it's got like I am, and then you remind yourself, of your superpowers and the things that make you feel good about yourself, which we can save that for another rant with those are, um, but so my gratitude journal, my exercise in the mornings, throughout the day, I have reminders that come up on my phone and remind me to reflect on my gratitude journal from the morning. So I'm like, it reminds me to go look at that and remember how blessed I am. I also use a lot of influential thought leaders that I listen to on podcasts and things that keep my mind set up. So got a bunch of things. That's just kind of a scratch on the surface of things. But I believe that, when we really tap into that longer term vision, what we've got, it makes it so much more joyous, as you put it. And that really, what's cool about that is it really reminds me of my dad, the story of M&M meat shops and why they were so successful, that my dad always talked about. He talks to this day about how it's because he had that long-term vision and knew where he wanted to get to.
Yeah. Being a business owner, whether you are the franchisor to your franchisees or you're a franchisee to your staff, it's a leadership game. And leadership requires positivity, requires mindset, requires realism also. But I got to tell you, it is draining because you have your own prerogatives and what you want to achieve and how you're going to set your day up. But sometimes the world doesn't play with you. You'll just every hour, every 2 hours, you'll come up against somebody who's complaining or whining or has an excuse or whatever. And you as a leader have got to meet them where they are and try to foster that positivity. And I don't want to sound like all kumbaya here that positivity is going to solve all the world's problems, because it's not. But it is like a toolkit, or like a tool in your tool belt, right? Just like a phone, right? By the way, you have way cooler apps. I have like the NBA app and like the American Pool Players Association.
That's kind of nerdy. Anyway, okay, well, let's wrap this up. Awesome tips. So it's focusing on the long-term goal is the biggest takeaway I got from this from you, and I do the same. So that is pretty cool. Are you ready to wrap this up?
Yes, I am. Wrap it up.
2, 1. Go be awesome.